Hey, good afternoon to everyone. I hope this is going to work. I spent the last 20 minutes debating doing this outside and fidgeting with things, and I can hear my neighbor sawing away on fixing his deck and such. So hopefully the sounds won't get in the way, and if they do, they do. I'm sitting on top of the deck of this beautiful house that I live in, and I can hear the creek, and it's really awesome. So yeah, this is part of getting comfortable with discomfort. Although if there are wasps and bees that are going to start following me around, I might have to take this inside. Anyway, hi, I'm Dawn Z. Manafusco, and I am a life coach for writers and creatives. I help men and women over 40 write and tell true stories, and I help people jump back into their creativity in all kinds of ways, but predominantly I work with writers. So right now I'm going to I'm going to share this video on my profile page and in my group called Write From Your Heart, which is one of my favorite groups that I've started. Let's see, we're going to share this onto my timeline. It's all about the sharing, people. It's all about the sharing. Happening now. Okay, we've got that. And then I'm going to share it in the group because they got mad once when I didn't do that, and I don't blame them. Let's see, share in a group. Group name, Write From Your Heart. There I am. Okay, so we've got all that covered. Hi, whoever's out there. And today we're going to talk about how to get comfortable with discomfort. Now, I changed the format of Write With Me, and I've been experimenting with it since November. I had an hour-long program with a half hour of writing. I had about a half-hour program with no writing. And I've decided to land, after talking to a few business coaches and Facebook Live coaches, they recommended I do what I like. What would I want? And honestly, I think 12:30 to 1 is a perfect time. I will give a pep talk on some lessons on writing and life for the first 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to do 5 to 10 minutes of a quick write. And if this is something you want to expand on, you can expand on it later. But my point in doing this is that writing does not have to take a ton of time, and getting those gears going can take anywhere between 5, 15, and 30 minutes. So for now, we're going to just do quick writes at the end, and again, they'll be between 5 and 10 minutes, and I will read it, and we'll go from there. Sometimes I might even just have a prompt at the end, and then I'll come back and post my prompt. I'm going to try that as well because I want to see if I can get other people to chime in and share their work. I've had a couple people do that. It was really, really cool. All right, so let's see. I had promised a few things, and I'm going to go back to what I promised, which is a personal story of how discomfort has taught me more than comfort has. Now, this might seem obvious, but in so many ways I find that, I don't understand where it comes from or when we were taught this, but in some strange way, I find that adults, when they sit down to write or they decide they're going to write later in life, so we'll say 30 and above, they suddenly feel like somehow it's supposed to feel good. Or when you're embarking on a creative process that you've been thinking about, whether it's a screenplay or you're writing a book or a poem, or say you're painting. When it comes to creativity, somehow we have this glorified romantic idea that when we sit down, it's just going to flow right out of us. Just going to be this beautiful, come to Jesus moment where, the clouds are going to part and we're just going to be writing like it's the most beautiful thing we've ever done. I've never had that experience. I've maybe a couple times with some poems. I've had some really interesting wow experiences that were pretty easy. But in general, I would say sitting down to write or sitting down to do anything worthwhile that is a little scary, where the stakes are high, meaning you want to do it. Whenever you get to that point, if you are convinced that it's supposed to feel good, or you tell yourself somehow that it's supposed to be comfortable, odds are you're not going to do it because it's not going to be comfortable. However, if you push through that discomfort, if you persevere, if you keep your butt in the chair and you write, whether, I don't care what you're writing, you might even be writing a business plan, but if you keep your butt in the chair and you just get it done through the discomfort, you will find something miraculous happens, and that is that you will start to get comfortable with discomfort. Now, a perfect example of this is when we work out. So those of you that have lifted weights or run or do spin classes, I had my first spin class in 10 years yesterday. Oh, that was a lot of energy, I'll tell you. And I've done a lot of things, and I forgot how intense spin classes can be, and that was a lot of discomfort. But I pushed through. And what I know is that if I'm not uncomfortable, I'm probably not building muscle. I'm probably not doing the getting my heart rate up, rather, for my heart to feel good and to be good. So, we want to get our heart rates up 4 or 5 times a week. We want to do some resistance training to keep our bodies in shape. And none of that is comfortable. But the results are awesome. So many times I will compare writing to working out. Because I think, and yoga, it's the same thing. If you're holding a pose in yoga for a little too long, that's uncomfortable. But when you push past that discomfort and the body relaxes and you're really holding that pose, the strength that you feel, the alignment that you feel in your body is beautiful. So discomfort definitely teaches me more than comfort. When I'm comfortable, sure, it's nice, it's relaxing, I think it's necessary. I love just sitting on the couch and watching Netflix with my boyfriend and cuddling up and not doing anything. And that's very comfortable, and that feels fantastic. And it's a really nice break. But when it comes to growth, when it comes to being proud of something, when it comes to feeling good about yourself, when it comes to living, just living life, it's the discomfort that will get us to the place of magic. And I really do mean that. I really think it's magical when we push past our discomfort zones. So in general, I would say, quitting my job and starting my business as a life coach 10 years ago was incredibly uncomfortable. I was terrified. I didn't know what I was doing. And quite honestly, it was a roller coaster ride for a long time. But I'm more proud of that than I am about, keeping my easy job, which I eventually quit. And if I was just sticking with the same old ease for a long, long time, it depends. What is it fulfilling? Is it giving me the zest for life that I want? Not to say you should quit your jobs. A lot of times jobs grow, and that's what's fun, right? You get a new position, you get some more responsibility, and all of a sudden that it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, because I remember a lot of the work that I used to do in PR and in education, they would put more on my plate. But I loved it. I was able to expand. I was able to push past that little bit of discomfort. And many of you know this. You all know that, when you're not familiar with something, that change is always weird. Change feels awkward, but it's change that we can guarantee. We can guarantee that we will always be changing. So if you can get comfortable with discomfort, I guarantee you'll be a great writer, because ain't nothing more uncomfortable than sitting down and writing for long periods of time. What else? Let's see. I made some promises, so I want to make sure I can fill them. Ways you can learn to be more comfortable with discomfort when you hit a wall. So yes, many, many, many times I hit a wall of discomfort. I just get so frustrated. I can't stand writing sometimes. I mean, it's amazing that I keep doing it, and it's amazing that I keep teaching it, because there are days where, there are days where I just go off and I can't fucking stand this. What am I doing? And I get a pretty big kick out of myself. So part of it is to have humor. So I think one of the best things you can do when you get really uncomfortable is have humor. I also see this in the gym. I see this in my pump classes when we're really going for it, when the trainer says to add more weights to it, and you look around the room and we're like, oh my God, he wants us to add more weights, and then we all bust out laughing because we're dying, like our arms are getting weak, and we're just like, we have to stop after the 200th squat or whatever. And I think that humor is a great way to embrace discomfort. So when you're on a path and you're finding yourself really uncomfortable, maybe even to the point of tears, because I have definitely been to the point of tears many, many times in my business, in my writing, in my creativity, in my workout world. I mean, there's so many places when I would network, oh my gosh, public speaking. There are so many areas where I was like, I'm freaking crazy. Like, why am I putting myself through this? And then I have a little bit of humor about it, because I'm like, so what? So what? And I love those two words. So I use those two words now more than I've ever used them in my life. I wasn't taught to use the words, so what? Everything was a threat. Everything was, you had to worry about it. My parents were the number one worriers. And I was taught to worry about stuff. Oh, what if this? What if it wasn't so what? It was what if. What if that happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And it wasn't good stuff. Like, what if you make $1 million? What if you become famous? It was, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? So my new favorite 2 words to push through discomfort are, so what? So what if I'm uncomfortable? It's not going to kill me. I mean, if it's going to kill me, I'm going to get out of it, right? My fight or flight will get in there, and I'll have to negotiate that. But so what? So the next time you feel uncomfortable, like I do again at the gym, yesterday specifically at the cycle class, oh my God, the spin class, and I started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sore. What if my back, what if my back hurts? What if this? And I was like, whoa. Take the what if, change it to so what? So what if my back hurts? I'm going to survive. It's not like I'm not in any real, positioning on that bike that's going to really hurt me. So what if I'm sore? So what if I'm tired? One of the things was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so worn out when I get home. So what if I'm worn out when I get home? Good for me. Good for me for doing it. So what if you're stuck in your writing? So what if it feels uncomfortable? So what if you don't know if that's the right thing to write at that moment? At least you're writing. At least you're sitting down and you're doing the work. So what if it doesn't get published? Let's see what here. Janice, my nickname was Worrywart. I love that. Let's see. Hold on, I'm trying to figure all this out. Oh, good. My dad's nickname was Worrywart, not exactly the best role model. For so what? I know, totally. Oh no, Janice, my mom is the beautiful, wonderful woman that raised me, but the worrier of the century. And it's actually kind of funny when I actually use the so what, I use the so what with my mom sometimes. She'll say, oh gosh, I won't even go into it. My mother lives in New York, and she will tell me about all the dangers in the world and all the things that I should be worried about. And I have used it. So what, Mom? And I try to move on. It's a little brain trick on her. She almost doesn't know what to do with that. So yes, let's do that, Janice. Let's retrain ourselves together. I've only started doing this for the last few weeks, the so what thing. And it's really amazing. It's an amazing way to think, because it's not flippant. I'm not saying that if you are normally a lazy person, if you normally don't get anything done, if you say so what so much, that you're not getting your art done, you're not excelling in life, you're not feeling zest for life, and you're using the words "so what" as a way to get out of stuff. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, for those of us that have been faced with the discomfort of writing, and faced with the discomfort of fearing failure, and faced with the discomfort of truly having our critics come at us, then to shift that around and loosen that up, we just say, so what? I'm going to sit here and do it anyway. So what? Allow all that weird discomfort to come in and let it go, and then engage again in the writing. And you can do that with just about anything. There's Arizona Williams. Hey, how do you join in? You're here. You're already in. Welcome. So I feel like this is a great lesson, not just for writing, but for life. And I got this basic idea from the book Dare by Barry McDonough. I've mentioned it before, and it's a new way of dealing with anxiety. But and his thing is DARE. So diffuse, which is so what. A is allow, just allow the feeling to come. R is run towards, so you run towards the feeling. And then E is engage. Now that's for anxiety. But if you look at it in a different way, if you look at it for creativity, if you look at it for writing, well, diffuse the discomfort. So what? Allow that discomfort to come in. I mean, really, if you're uncomfortable, it's going to be okay. It's actually a good sign. If you're uncomfortable, see it as a good sign. Run towards it, meaning, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily run towards my discomfort all the time, but it really loses its power when you see it as an ally. And then engage. So re-engage. Keep writing. Keep doing what you're doing. Just allow yourself to continue through the discomfort, and then the magic happens. It becomes comfortable. Jana says, fear of failure or the critics is the key for so what? Yes. Agreed. Like that. So, okay, so my trick is the so what trick, okay? Let's see what else I got here. I said, how to know when you should move on. Oh, yes. So here's the other part. So when do you move on? When is the discomfort so much that you start to realize it really is the wrong thing? Now, that's a tricky one when it comes to writing. I'm going to stick to writing right now. So if someone's writing something and they're going and they're writing it and they're pushing through the discomfort, you're pushing through the discomfort, and then you realize this is really not working. This subject, the timing, what I'm doing is not working. I still think that the only way to know is to get through to the end. Now, when I say that, I mean maybe you would shorten the project. So if you're writing and you say you're going to write 100 pages, say it's 10 chapters, 10 pages each, and you're going to write a 100-page book, hypothetically. So you get to chapter 3, you're like, oh my God, there's no way. I really don't want to write this. Part of what I've done with my clients, my students, and myself is to shorten the project. So you still finish the project, but maybe your chapters are 3 pages. And you're going to go through all the ideas, and you're going to get to the end a little quicker, so that you can look at the whole project and say, was I on the right path? Because maybe it's just that chapter that's bugging you, or maybe it's just that part of the writing project or the story that's bugging you. So you might want to skip ahead and continue on the project. So if it's a longer project, and this is where the discomfort comes in for writers, the longer projects will create more discomfort. And it's good to know if the project itself is a dead end, or if you're stuck in a certain spot. And I think that the only way to know that is to actually shorten the project, get more done, and then look at the whole thing. I've done that with 2 projects that I had, and truly it was a good idea that I abandoned. I wasn't writing it for me. I was writing it because someone told me to. It was a subject I wasn't that passionate about. It was, it just wasn't really my thing. Really wasn't. At all. Some good stuff came out of it. I've pulled from those projects and put them in other projects. But I think the best way to know if you really should abandon ship is to see how much of that project can you get done? And again, if it's a longer writing project, to see, if it's a business plan, let's go there. If it's a business plan and you've only filled out one part of that business plan, and then you think, well, maybe this isn't for me. No. Then I want you to write 4 sentences for each part of that business plan, a short little blurb, to get a bigger picture of what the plan is. Because maybe you're just stuck on the mission statement, or maybe you're stuck in the finances, or maybe you're stuck in the marketing because, one of those parts feels a little bit weird. Say it's a song. I've written a few songs in my time. You might get stuck at the bridge. You might get stuck at one of the choruses. One of the ways that I've pushed through is I repeat myself. I will repeat myself in stanzas of the song to see if anything sparks, Same with poetry. If I feel like I'm on the dead end of poetry, I'll finish the poem as best as I can, and I'll take a look at it. So I think that the best way to know if you should stop completely from discomfort is to get a really good, well-rounded view of practicing in different parts of that project. And this can go for lots of things. Like I remember when I started working out again, because I hadn't worked out in a couple of years, and that's weird for me. And then when I started, I actually didn't know where I belonged. And I started doing some body attack classes, which is more like a aerobics class. And then I did some pump classes, and then I did cycle. And what I was doing is I was seeing, well, what is for me? Is it just that I don't like running? Is it just that I'm not really into cycle? Well, right now I'm not, because that was intense. But I really loved the weightlifting classes. I did realize that yoga is actually hard on my back. Too many forward folds really kind of mess me up a little bit, or hard twists. I got to go easy on myself. So what I was doing is I was getting a full picture before I quit. And so I didn't quit, obviously. I just kept going. I started to do the things that felt a little bit better, but I had to go through all that discomfort. Again, writing projects, you got to see the whole picture. If you don't see the whole picture, you won't know if you should abandon that particular project. All right, so we're going to just do a really simple writing prompt today. And I kind of wanted to make it, I guess not totally uncomfortable, but there is going to be a little bit of discomfort in there. Let's see. I was going to do 5 minutes today again to make it easy. And the 5 minutes I'm going to ask, because it's going to be a lot. It's going to be an interesting prompt. So for 5 minutes, and I will read this today. We're just going to stick to 5 minutes. I want you to write what you see in front of you, around you, what you hear, and what you physically, well, I was going to say physically feel. Hold on, let me fix this. What you physically feel. Like, the air, the breeze, the temperature. And don't take your pen off the paper or your hands off the keys for 5 minutes. Now, this is a great exercise to start doing on a regular basis with your writing projects. So whenever you are stuck, whenever you don't want to sit down and do it, whenever you feel like you're lost in the project, I want you to take a timer, set it for 5 minutes, stick your hands on your keyboard or on your pen, and I want you to write, and you are not allowed, ever to stop. And you can write, I don't know what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? I'm not really sure how to say this properly. You can just let that come out of you. But the idea is to go past those teeny moments of discomfort and continue through. So the only way to get, this is really funny, the only way to get comfortable with discomfort is to sit in the discomfort. And the beauty of everything is at every single moment you get to start again. So another part about discomfort that I want to say, we do this in meditation quite a bit, every moment you begin again. Every day you begin again. Every hour you begin again. And knowing that you're beginning again, every single moment that you have all of possibility available to you is a beautiful moment. So when you sit down for these 5 minutes, these are the 5 minutes that you get to start all over again. And today, whatever comes out of you is just practice. You're just working that gear, working those writing muscles to push through any discomfort. So let's just do it. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to ding my little prayer bell, and we're going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to write what I see in front of me, around me, what I hear, what I physically feel. I'm not going to try to be fancy about it. I'm just going to write. And no matter how uncomfortable it gets, I'm going to keep going for 5 minutes. Here we go. Okay, that was 5 minutes. That was fast. I might have to adjust that to 10 minutes next time. So, for 5 minutes, write what you see in front of you, around you, what you hear, and what you physically feel. Don't take your pen off the paper or your hands off the keys. So this is one of my favorite exercises for getting through discomfort, especially in a writing, obviously, in a writing assignment. So no matter what you're doing, no matter how big your writing assignment is, no matter if it's technical, like a business plan, or it's, super artistic, like a song or a poem, or you're writing a book, like I've been writing recently, short book, you would think it'd be done by now. But I've been hitting some really interesting walls of discomfort, and I've been practicing what I preach and getting through it. And I've noticed that as long as I just zen out for a second, take 5 minutes and just push through that part of the book or that, chapter. And even if I write the simplest things for 5 minutes, all of a sudden it's like I kind of go past that scary spot of discomfort and I keep going. And I swear that's what you can apply that to just about anything in life. So here's what I wrote. Not rocket science here, people. I did discover something about myself, though, and I feel that writing is a really beautiful spot of self-discovery. So here's what I wrote. There's so much green in front of me. I feel like I'm sitting in the middle of a forest. The leaves are so very different. Small evergreen branches, a fig tree, rose bushes, too many for me to name. I wish I knew more about the foliage I see. It's like forgetting someone's name that you see every day. It feels rude. And it feels rude that I would not invest the time to get to know all these beautiful trees, flowers, and bushes. They see me every day and don't forget my name, I think. I never feel as if I'm not remembered. When I arrive home each day, I feel welcomed and held in their soft embrace. I think I'm going to do my best to get to know the foliage around me. I mean, I know the ducks. We have so many gorgeous and cute ducks. The creek is low now and it's spring, but in the winter, the creek gets so high, the ducks walk up to the porch and hang out around my ankles. So that's all I got for there, but it did actually inspire me to actually, have some of my neighbors over. They know a lot about the foliage here, and I've never taken the time, I've just never taken the time to get to know the natural world around me more. And I think that's a great discovery for today. All right, so what did you discover? Did you do your 5 minutes? As simple as it is, I would love it if you shared on the comments, or even if you shared just something you discovered today with this writing assignment, and or anything you discovered about starting to get comfortable with discomfort, or any questions that you have. I will keep going back to the thread, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep writing, keep pushing through that discomfort, keep your vision and your dream alive, okay? And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.